everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be all about the Goodreads Choice Award 2020. So, every year I like to talk about them, and this year is no different. Definitely grab some tea because I have opinions, but Goodreads started the first round, the opening round for the Choice Award. Basically, we are allowed to vote in each category for the best book in our opinion in that genre. Every year, people complain about the Goodreads Choice Award being a popularity contest, and I don't disagree. And there's also the fact that often there are books that should not be in the category that they are. So we're gonna go genre by genre, kind of letting you know which ones I will be voting in and a little bit more, and also let me know if there are any books in there that I mentioned or didn't mention that you think I should read, because I'm preparing my reading challenges for 2021 because it is approaching, and I do like to do my own, reading challenge, and this year I'm doing the ones from last year, right? And actually at the end of the month I'm going to do my own award show, and there will be some changes. So let's go through each category one at a time. Best fiction. Fiction I have like a complicated relationship with. I feel like in general I like them, like the idea of them. I'll read like the best-selling ones from the last, I don't know how many years, and I'll find some favorites. But whenever I do that category in the Goodreads reading challenge, this year, so far, I have read 2 books that were published this year in that category. The first one is Such a Fun Age, which I did enjoy. The topic is very, very relevant at the moment. And then the other book that I did read is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and I mentioned in my October wrap-up that it was one of the best books that I've read this year, so I have to choose that one. I don't really have a choice. The only thing is it really fiction? I feel like, yeah, okay, you know what? That one I don't really have an issue with it being there. So those are the only 2 that I have read. The only one that was also on my TBR that I just didn't have time to get to is The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel, who is the author of Station 11, which is a very actually fiction post-apocalyptic. I've been saying that's the most chill one that I've read in a while, and it's very popular on Booktube, and that's just her newest book, so obviously I wanted to give it a shot, just didn't have time. So if there are any other books that you see in that category, definitely let me know, but most likely I will attempt the winner, but we'll see. I'm not 100% sure about fiction. Second category is definitely one of my favorite categories, and it is Best Mystery and Thriller. So in this category, I have only... That was the cat, it's just a tree. I have only finished 2 books so far. I am in the middle of a 3rd one right now. So the 2 that I did read, the first one is Home Before Dark by Réka Zsigrai. I have reviewed all 4 of his books in a video if you are interested. It's a pretty solid book. It's my 2nd favorite by him, but the 2 are the ones, so it is what it is. But yeah, Haunted House, did overall enjoy it, but the other one that I have read is The Devil in the Dark Water by Stuart Turton. Bear with me, I just changed my Invisalign yesterday and I cannot speak. I'm almost done though. Soon I will have no excuses for not pronouncing everything. But yes, between the 2 I have to choose that one. It's similarly to his other book. It's kind of a murder mystery with a sci-fi twist, but this one is more like a paranormal twist to it. Like, is it a demon killing people on the boat? I did really enjoy the journey in his books. His endings tend to be his weakest point, but overall, did enjoy the book. I think I gave it 4.25. So between the 2, I have to choose that one because it was stronger. The book that I'm currently reading is One by One by Ruth Ware, and I'm like almost 50% into it. So we'll see, but it's very wintry if you're looking for a winter read. As far as the other books that are currently on my TBR, I have The Boy from the Woods, because that author, I keep seeing him everywhere, and if I have to be honest, mustard. I like color mustard. And I mean, come on, that I was going to say thumbnail, that cover is very appealing. I had been recommended The Sundown Motel. Was it for like creepy house kind of recommendation? I think that was that. So those are the only ones that I've really heard of. Actually, not true. I did hear a little bit about The Wives, but people were like not enjoying it, or like the reactions were extremes. So we'll see if it's a winner. I'll pick it up. Let me know if there's anything else that you think I should read. For best historical fiction, I don't read a ton of them. I'll read about like 2 or 3 every year. And the first one that I see in there, I've read none, by the way. I'm just talking about my TBR. But I did recently add to my wish list at my library, which, by the way, finally everything is fixed if you haven't followed on Twitter. It took a while, but I was able to spend the $80, and I now have access to a big library for a year. But yes, Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman, who's the same author as Practical Magic. This one is actually a second prequel. I love witches, so I'm very happy to get more books by her. The only thing is it really historical fiction? Isn't that fantasy? I don't know, maybe. You tell me, but yes, I will be reading that one. The only other one that for now is on my TBR would be The Book of Longings by Sumon Kid. I've read The Secret Life of Bees, I think, by her, and I did actually really like it, so I would be open to reading that one by her if it's the winner or, you know, top 3 or something. Now we get to Best Fantasy, which is probably the category that has the most books that I have read or will read. So always exciting. One of the things people were telling me was that I should just read all the Best Fantasy instead as my Goodreads reading challenge, but a few of these are like book, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a series, so I don't know, I'll think about it. But so far I have read 2. Okay, only 2. The first one is The Invisible Life of Eddie Larue by V. Schwab. Magical. I adore that book. Can't recommend it enough. And then there's The Girl in the Stars by Mark Lawrence, which I thought was a huge letdown. So not a tough choice. I am voting for The Invisible Life of Eddie Larue. I tend to only vote for categories where I've read at least, you know, 2 books, like right now. But like, I don't know why I put myself this limit. A bunch of people vote for books that they haven't read because in this category, there is not only 1, but 2 books that are not even out yet. So we have The Burning God, which I just got an arc of, and I am reading that as soon as I'm done with my current little reading blog for fall reads. So I will be having read that before the end of the month in my wrap up. So I'm excited, but it's only coming out November 17th. So why is it in here? The 17th is like the first day of the last round or something. And same thing actually, because same date with Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson, which is the 4th book in the Stormlight Archives series, which again, it's not out. People are voting for it because they're excited about it, because of the author. Like, what is it? Shouldn't be here. I just get excessively mad over this. Because like, not that many people got an arc. Like, see, Burning God, there is 450 ratings, doesn't mean that they have actually read the book, and 500 for Rhythm of War, which again, doesn't mean that they have had an arc. Maybe they're just excited. You know, some people just rate before they have read the book. I don't know, that's it annoys me. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So the books that are also on my TBR, except these 2, I have recently added, actually, the first one is the one that I'm hoping to read before the end of the year, but I don't know, I'm a little busy with all the books I have to read, but A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. I will attempt to read it before the end of the year, otherwise I will include it in a second, you know, giving a second chance to authors like I've done recently, so one or the other. Recently I added a couple to my TBR, definitely let me know which ones I should also add, but there's a few that I'm excited about. There's The Once and Future Witches, which I love witches. I will read pretty much anything with witches. Black Sun, and then The Bone Shard Daughter. So far the ratings are pretty good and seemed interesting to me, but again, let me know if there's anything else that I'm missing. I will most likely add more books to my TBR and waiting list at my library once we get to the final round. So Best Romance. I have mentioned in my, you know, update mid-year with the Goodreads reading challenge that I was not planning on reading any more romance. It's just not a genre that works for me. But someone told me that in the holidays has someone reliving the same day over and over again. If you have read it, please confirm. Because if it's the case, I will read it because I love that trope. And I'm hoping to do a video on that topic. And if I could add a few more books, that would be perfect, especially if it's a little bit different. Because right now it's a lot of sci-fi, so let me know. But that's the only book right now that I'm planning on possibly reading. So I'm not voting for romance. Best sci-fi? I'm not going to vote because I have read only one book and I DNF'd it. So if I didn't finish it, it's To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, which I put it down at 56%, but the book is huge. It's like 850 pages. So I read a ton of it, but I just couldn't finish it for some reason. So far the reviews are, some people love it, some people meh. I don't even know what I'm going to do with that one, but yeah. All the other books, I haven't read them. Since when? I looked back at last year, and obviously I've read a couple of those books this year, but at this point I think I have read 9 or 10 out of the 20. And in this one, out of like 15, I have read 1. This is weird. But a few of these are actually like part of series. The other ones, I just haven't heard of them. So, need to get to that. I'm planning on reading Gideon the Ninth. And the second one is on that list, so I might get to that one next year if I enjoy the first one. Otherwise, I am planning on continuing the Murderbot series, which I think I'm at the 4th one, and the 5th one is on the list. So yeah, I will have to see which book wins, and you know, the ones that are in the top 3 or something, I will definitely add those to my TBR for next year for the reading challenge, but we'll have to see what wins, and I'll read descriptions and choose my favorites and just get to them. Best horror. I didn't think I would have anything to talk about in horror, but every year I'm like, oh yeah, there's always 1 or 2. Mexican Gothic, I did read that one. The ending kind of lost me. People are either love it or just not really into it. Sadly, I'm in the latter category. The other one, I am DNFing it. It's The Year of the Witching, which I really tried. It's going to be my reading vlog, but I just can't get into it. I love witches, but during Puritan times, I'm just not into it. So yeah, I don't know how much percentage, I think 60% into it or something. I can't finish it. I just can't make myself do it. Otherwise, one that I'm planning on picking up pretty much next is Mallory by Josh Malerman, which is book 2 after Bird Box, which I was a little scared. I did a video about standalones, which I'm planning on continuing this series very soon. And one of these videos is going to be about the book that should have stayed a standalone. You know, shouldn't have had 2 or 3 books in that series. And this is one of the ones I'm like, is it going to be added in there or not? I had mentioned that, and a few people were actually telling me it's really good, so I'm excited. Otherwise, I am not planning on reading the newest Paul Tremblay because nothing works for me. And that's pretty much the only books I have heard of, so I will have to look into it. I'm gonna skip humor. I just never find them funny, I feel like. Best fiction, I haven't read any, but a few people mentioned Hood Feminism, which I will add to my TBR. Best memoir and autobiography, I haven't read any, and at one point I said, kind of accidentally, I don't really care about people. I obviously mean about reading a book about people's lives, unless it's like something I'm looking up, you know, I want to learn more. Those ones, I will most likely enjoy them, but like just randomly. Best historiography, obviously same thing. Science and technology, I'm actually surprised, once again, a category that I usually either have read a couple or have a bunch on my TBR. I have read none. I have added none to my TBR, so I will wait and see what the winner is, and I will add a couple to my TBR for next year. So cookbook, graphic novel, poetry, I'm skipping all that. I haven't read any. I will not be reading any. Best debut novel, I have read 2. Well, Such a Fun Age and The Year of the Witching, which like I mentioned, I'm DNFing. So I don't know if I'm going to vote or not, because I feel like I've only read 1 and I'm complaining about people doing that. You know what I mean? I don't know, I'm thinking about it. But there are a few other books that I might pick up. I mentioned earlier The Boneshard Daughter, so we'll see. Young adult, best young adult fiction, there are none that I have read. I had One of Us is Next, which is book 2 after One of Us is Lying, which was, you know, fine. So I just never got around to it. I might pick up the winner. We'll see, possibly not. And then the last category I have voted on is Best Young Adult Fantasy and Sci-Fi. I have read 2. Midnight Sun, which is Twilight number 5. I did vlog it. If you want to hear the good stuff, check the vlog, because I show you the pages and you can pause and read, because I showed you everything that was like new information for anyone that, you know, just wants that. I'm not gonna vote for that, but the second one I have read is Starsight by Brandon Sanderson, which 5 stars, amazing, can't recommend this enough. YA sci-fi, loved it. As far as other books to add to my TBR, I do have The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but I think that's it for now. Again, I will check and see whatever wins, hopefully Starsight, but I might add 1 or 2 to my TBR for next year. Not that many complaints, so just a few, like, are they in the right categories and these books are not even out, why are they there? I'm sure we'll have more to say whenever we have winners and stuff, but I thought it would just be fun to do this video together, kind of letting you know personally which ones I will be voting as winners, should be winning. Let me in the comment section, who are you voting for? Because I want to know. Thumbs up, subscribe. I will be putting more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I will see you in my next video very soon. Bye.